I want to center on the idea of allegiance tonight. Allegiance. To whom would you have, or I have allegiance, and whom to us? In the gospel, Jesus says many people come to him, but then he infers a difference between that and disciples. Many are going to come to me, but if you want to be my disciple, then you have to take up your cross. And he says something that's really not very polite. Unless you hate your mother and father and your sister and brother. And you all went and said, is that in our gospel, didn't you? That's what you said. You said, is that really in the Bible? Well, it's kind of softened in Matthew's account, because in Matthew's account it says, whoever loves father or mother more than me is not fit to be my disciple, brother or sister more than me. Okay, so it says a little different. But there's something maybe in Luke's gospel that he wants to say that's very stark and challenging, which is, I want to be your greatest allegiance. Of all things, of all people, of all activities you could commit to, I should be number one. Above the party crowd that you want to be friends with, above immoral acts with others who may invite you somewhere you don't want to go, above the intellectual hubris that can be in academia, of wanting stature and to be noticed, but that God would be the number one allegiance. Now, we're praying a lot for peace in the world today. And Pope Francis, I think many of you know, yesterday asked us to fast and pray for Syria. Very dangerous scenario at the moment. President Obama considering sending bombs into Syria, and Putin from Russia saying, I'm going to send up some anti-missiles if you do that. And so it's a very precarious situation. And there are many people who have a kind of allegiance to their family, to their tribes, but in such a way that's leading to violence. It's leading to violence. And it's not just there. I read in Belgium just the other day that 1/8 of all lung transplants today in Belgium come from people who are euthanized. That means somebody with ALS or schizophrenia, depression, or something grave is deciding to die, and their lungs are being used for transplantation. And there's a grave danger that, you know what, if we can just talk more people into this, we might have a bigger business. Okay? That's the danger at the moment. And Jesus, when he says, I want you to hate these, is not saying, I want hate. Okay? Just the opposite. He's saying, if your allegiance is first and foremost to me, then my love is going to penetrate into all these other things. Into your family relationships, into your friendships, your co-working relationships, into all your activities. And they're going to be supernaturalized and become extraordinary. And then you will really know what it's like to love family. Now, I have 134 seminarians here at St. John Vianney. And their parents drop them off, and we have a day where I tell all the mothers they're going to be very happy here. And when you're a mother someday, you'll realize what that means. And they're all going to be very happy here, and they're going to come home with great joy and gratitude and more virtue, and they're going to start helping with the dishes and all sorts of things. Okay? And they do. And they do. But I say to the mothers and to the fathers, you want your children not to suffer. That's what every parent wants. You want your children to be happy and successful. And good parents want that. But most of all, do you want your son to be holy and to do the Father's will? That would be the best parent. And so I say, please encourage your sons who are at the seminary discerning to do the Father's will. And that will make them most happy, most healthy, etc., etc. Now, a good story to conclude discussion of all this other violence. There's a woman who's dying in Maine. And this last week, she did something quite extraordinary. She walked into a Kmart store, and she went into the layaway section. That's where people have these debts. Okay, they bought certain toys and didn't pay for them all and said, well, I'll pay you a certain amount each month or whatever. She knew she was about to die. She walked into the store. She walked up to the counter and says, I am approaching death, and I want to do something very good for somebody. She says, I want you to tell me everybody here who has a debt. And the store registered over $3,000 worth of debt. She wrote out a check, and she paid for them all. And they have no idea who did it. But another woman named Rena said, one of the things that she does is she has a special Christmas program for children in poverty where she gets gifts from this Kmart store in this layaway program. And so, unknowingly, the woman who paid the debt also paid for gifts for special children in poverty. Well, who is our greatest allegiance? Are the people around us encouraging us that our greatest allegiance would be Jesus? If so, all of other relationships will be penetrated by that supernatural reality. And in fact, we will become peacemakers.